Inside one of Los Angeles's most elite restaurants, a waiter quietly served a table of billionaires and businessmen. To the world, he looked ordinary, just another face in the crowd. But what no one knew was that this man once held power, influence, and respect on the global stage. That night, he became the target of cruel humiliation, mocked for the color of his skin and dismissed as if he were nothing. Yet, in a single moment, everything changed because the man they thought powerless was hiding a truth no one expected. Golden Lotus wasn't just another restaurant in Los Angeles. It was a place reserved for the city's elite, where fortunes were discussed over fine wine and reputations were made or broken at the dinner table. On this particular night, a group of powerful American businessmen gathered there, their laughter echoing through the dimly lit hall. At the center of it all was Zhang Lianhua, a Chinese billionaire whose influence stretched across continents. She was known for her wealth, her arrogance, and the way people bent to her will. Creeping between the tables was Marcus Reed. To anyone watching, he appeared to be nothing more than a server. Polite, efficient, invisible. Few noticed the weariness in his eyes or the quiet dignity in the way he carried himself. No one there knew that this waiter once stood in embassies, negotiating billion-dollar trade deals. No one knew he had earned a PhD from Yale, spoke Mandarin fluently, and had been trusted with America's most delicate cultural ties. But now, stripped of his title and reputation after a scandal he never caused, Marcus found himself reduced to a job he never imagined, waiting tables for people who would never see beyond his skin. As Zhang Lianhua raised her glass, her eyes landed on him. A smirk curved across her face. For her, he was not a man, just an object to mock, a target for her cruel amusement. The businessmen around her chuckled nervously, unsure of what was coming, but unwilling to challenge her. Marcus, however, said nothing. He kept serving in silence, hiding the storm that brewed inside him. What no one at that table knew was that by the end of the night, their laughter would turn into shock, and Zhang's empire would begin to crumble. The evening wore on, and Marcus moved silently between tables, each step measured, each gesture professional. Zhang Lianhua's eyes never left him. Her laughter rang sharp and cutting, directed at him like a whip. In fluent Mandarin, she mocked his appearance, his posture, even the way he carried trays. She called him a monkey, and sneered that someone like him belonged cleaning floors, not serving the wealthy. Around her, the American businessmen laughed nervously, their smiles tight, unsure how to react. They didn't understand the words, but they sensed the venom behind them. Marcus felt the familiar sting of humiliation, the sharp reminder of how far he had fallen. This wasn't just a dinner. It was a stage for Zhang's arrogance, her sense of superiority, and her cruelty. She pulled out her phone, recording herself boasting about racial hierarchies, flaunting her sense of entitlement. Her words dripped with disdain, as if mocking a man's intelligence, dignity, and humanity were simple entertainment. Every laugh from her entourage felt like a punch to his chest, yet Marcus moved with quiet precision, hiding the storm behind calm eyes. He had survived worse. He had been a diplomat, a cultural attaché trusted with sensitive negotiations worth billions. He had studied, prepared, and navigated worlds far more dangerous than this dining hall. But tonight, the fight was different. Tonight, he was invisible to most, a shadow in plain sight, the target of someone who believed herself untouchable. Marcus's mind raced. His fingers brushed over the phone in his pocket. Every word Zhang uttered, every act of degradation was being recorded discreetly. He sent a brief message to his former mentor, Dr. Jonathan Wu, director of the Pacific Institute for Asian Studies. Within seconds, a reply appeared. "She's already under investigation in China. Keep everything. This is evidence." A surge of quiet determination strengthened him. The climax of her cruelty arrived in the form of a command. Zhang leaned forward, her voice sharp, imperious. "Dance for me, monkey. Entertain us." The words struck the room like lightning. The businessmen laughed nervously, glancing at each other, unsure if this was a joke or a test of loyalty. Marcus paused, every fiber of his being tense. A lifetime of knowledge, training, and experience had brought him to this single, humiliating moment. He straightened, calm but resolute, hiding neither his anger nor his intelligence. The waitstaff watched, hearts pounding, unsure what he would do. Zhang's smirk faltered for the briefest instant. Marcus's eyes locked with hers, unblinking. The air in the restaurant thickened with suspense. Something was about to break, something no one at that table could have anticipated. Every recorded insult, every sneer, every degrading gesture. Marcus had it all documented. He was no longer just a victim. He was a quiet storm, gathering force, ready to reveal truths that would shatter illusions. And in that moment, the audience feels the tension rise, the injustice crackling in the air, the impending revelation waiting like a spark above dry tinder. The room had no idea what was coming. And for viewers, that uncertainty lingers. How does a man who appears powerless hold all the cards? How does the hunted become the one in control? The answers will unfold, but not yet. The command echoed through the restaurant. "Dance for me, monkey." Time seemed to slow. All eyes turned to Marcus, the man they had humiliated all evening. Laughter rippled nervously around the table, but beneath it, a tense anticipation hung thick in the air. Zhang Lianhua's smirk widened, confident that her cruelty had reached its peak. She had no idea the storm she had provoked. Marcus's chest tightened, not with fear, but with a resolve forged through years of injustice and betrayal. He straightened his posture, each movement deliberate, measured, commanding presence without raising his voice. His gaze locked with hers, unwavering, and in that instant, the entire room felt the shift. A silence heavier than any laughter. The waiter who had endured months of humiliation was no longer invisible. Then, with perfect clarity and fluency, Marcus spoke in Mandarin. Every word was precise, calm, yet cutting. He told her she was confusing the restaurant with a zoo. The room froze. Shock rippled across the faces of the American businessmen, their laughter gone, replaced by disbelief. Zhang's smirk faltered, then vanished entirely. Marcus didn't stop there. One by one, he revealed who he truly was. Dr. Marcus Reed, Yale Ph.D., former cultural attaché to Beijing, negotiator of trade agreements directly involving her company. Every insult, every video she had recorded herself boasting about her so-called superiority, was captured, documented evidence of her arrogance and racism. The room's energy shifted from fear to astonishment. Zhang's color drained. Her empire of influence, carefully built over decades, felt suddenly fragile, exposed to scrutiny she had never imagined. The very man she had treated as a plaything held her reputation in his hands. The audience watching this moment, whether in the room or through narration, can almost feel the tension crack, the collapse of power, and the sweet justice unfolding. Marcus's calm, controlled revelation left one final, unspoken statement lingering in the room. 4 months, she had believed she could mock him without consequence. But that night, she had met the truth, and it would follow her forever. The room remained suspended in disbelief, and for viewers, the question hangs. How will the aftermath unfold? Who will rise and who will fall when arrogance meets dignity in its purest form? In the weeks that followed, the fallout was swift and undeniable. The video of Marcus confronting Zhang Lianhua spread like wildfire, racking up millions of views worldwide. What had begun as a quiet act of self-respect in a crowded restaurant had become a symbol of dignity and justice. Zhang, once untouchable, faced the collapse of her empire. Contracts worth hundreds of millions vanished, international partners distanced themselves, and her family stripped her of authority. The arrogance that had once defined her life was replaced with isolation and public disgrace. Meanwhile, Marcus's life took an opposite turn. Invitations to speak at universities and conferences poured in. The U.S. State Department reinstated him with a promotion and recognition for his resilience. He became a voice for equality and fairness, proving that respect, intelligence, and integrity could never be diminished by wealth, prejudice, or cruelty. His story resonated far beyond Los Angeles, a testament to the power of dignity over demeaning words and knowledge over ignorance. But the story's impact went beyond individual triumph. Businesses began adopting the Reed Protocol, new anti-discrimination standards inspired by his experience. Social media discussions sparked nationwide reflection, conversations about racial bias, and the consequences of arrogance fueled by privilege. For every Zhang Lianhua who assumed power would protect them, there was a Marcus Reed to remind the world that true strength lies in character, not wealth. And yet, the most profound lesson remained personal. Marcus's calm courage revealed that injustice can be confronted without hatred, that humiliation can be transformed into empowerment, and that education and integrity are shields no ridicule can pierce. The restaurant where it all unfolded became a symbol, not of shame for Marcus, but of awakening for those who believed mockery could ever remain unchecked. As viewers reflect on his journey, one question lingers. How many times do we overlook dignity, allowing prejudice to thrive unchecked, before we choose to stand, speak, and act? Marcus Reed's story is a reminder that courage isn't loud. It's measured, deliberate, and unwavering, and its echoes can reshape the world. What would you do if you were in Marcus's place? Stay silent or stand up for yourself? If this story inspired you, don't forget to like and share it with others. Subscribe to our channel for more powerful stories that reveal courage, justice, and the strength of the human spirit.